Yo, what's up, everyone? This is
And
Vicente,
this is Izzy.
and welcome back to another episode of the IV Podcast. And today we are covering Renfield. Now, this is also going to be a spoiler free review for the first 6 minutes, so we will have a timer. So, yeah, stick around if you haven't seen the movie, if you want to get a taste of what this movie is like. And then once the timer goes off, we are going to talk spoilers with our positives, mixed, and negatives.
Mm-hmm.
Izzy, anything you want to add before we get this timer started?
I just want to say thank you guys so much for getting us to over 300 followers on YouTube. That is amazing.
Yeah, 308 to be precise. And just thank you to everyone who listens and supports. Like, yeah, I mean, like, I don't care if we're getting 100 views per video. It's the fact that I'm having people watch these videos. And, sometimes I'm pretty sure some subscribers are just from YouTube Shorts or from our TikTok page. And if you are here because of that, I still appreciate you and thank you. And I love engaging with everyone in the horror community, comic book community, or even movie community. And it means so much. Like, I've already met so many amazing people, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, Renfield, whoo, all right.
All right.
So we're going to start our spoiler-free 6-minute review in 3, 2, 1. Now, I did not expect this movie to be as bloody and gory as it is, without mentioning how. Later on I will. But Izzy, thoughts on this movie, spoiler free?
Yeah, I was not. From the trailers, I was expecting gore, but not to this extent. But it's good. It's good gore.
Yeah, and I didn't have really high expectations for this movie, but I also didn't have low expectations. They were average, I guess. I knew what this movie was gonna be, and it's Nicolas Cage. You have Nicolas Cage in your movie. You know it's going to be a cheesy, wackadoo fun time. I'm a huge Nicolas Cage fan. Izzy will tell you my 3 favorites are Keanu Reeves, Brandon Fraser, and Nicolas Cage. I don't care how crappy their movies are. I will love them to the end. And this one was just another banger Nicolas Cage film. And hell, even the actress Awkwafina, she's been in a lot of movies like Shang-Chi recently, and Nicholas Hoult, who's most known as Beast from the X-Men prequel movies. This movie was just great. It's not Oscar nominating acting, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, and the comedy in it plays it off so well all the way throughout. It's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, and this is a movie where you kind of just have to turn off your brain and just have fun with it. And it was just fun just sitting back, laughing with the audience, going, "Ooh, crap," with certain parts. But yeah, this is a good movie, and it also has that classic Universal Studios monster movie from back in the 20s and 30s. I'm not going to say right now. I will later on with our positives what we mean by it. But yeah, Universal Studios to me makes the best classic monster movies.
Yeah. I mean, they played it off really well for it being a fun, friendly movie.
Yeah, and then people expected, this to be just Nicolas Cage playing a vampire. No, he did. I mean, yeah, he's a vampire, but he did pretty good. I would say he was pretty intimidating, and he was serious. I mean, yeah, it's still Nicolas Cage, but he did some pretty good acting in this one, just like Nicholas Hoult. Even with Nicholas Holt's character of Renfield, he also did some physical acting too, and I was even blown away.
Yeah. I think Nicholas Holt's character was one of my favorites throughout the movie.
Yeah, and Nicholas Hoult, I will say, he's gonna be. He is a well-known actor right now, but I see a lot more with this dude. I was introduced to him through X-Men First Class when he played a young Beast, and I was like, you know what, he's pretty good. I like it. I hope he does more movies. And I'm not gonna lie, I would love if he became an action star, because in this movie he does a lot of his own stunts and action, and he looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, I think this movie is going to open up a lot of things for him.
And I will say, I know some people were hyped for this movie as far as the horror community, because I did see some, but I also never really seen a lot of promotion for this. Not like Evil Dead Rise. And I told Izzy, this is a movie that's going to either suck really bad or be a sleeper. And sure enough, this was a sleeper.
Yeah.
It was. Holy crap. I'm trying to think of things I can say to where I'm not going to spoil the movie just yet. But Izzy, you want to add anything else? We have about 2 more minutes.
I just want to comment on if you're looking for something horror this is not so much horror, it's more of just like goriness, and it's also very funny too.
It's a comedy horror.
Yeah.
Like, it's dark humor. I mean, it does have horror vibes to it. I'm not going to say which ones yet, but it's still pretty good, and, think of it as like Shaun of the Dead when it comes to comedy horror. That's how I would describe it. But it's still good. It's funny, but it also has its moments when it needs to be scary.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you got Universal backing you up with money and you got Nicolas Cage, dude, that's a dream come true right there. That's a dream team right there.
Yeah, that is.
And like I said, I love Nicolas Cage. I'm never going to stop saying that. I liked him in Willy's Wonderland, Con Air. Every movie he's been in, most notably National Treasure.
Mhm.
I still have to see his movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. He did it with Pedro Pascal. I still haven't seen it. I'm planning on watching it. So yeah, Great movie. We have about a minute left before we're going to talk spoilers. So yeah, overall, I think I would give this movie an 8 out of 10.
For me, you guys will find out later, but for me, it's about a 7.5 out of 10.
And and when me and Izzy discussed it, we did talk about it and stuff like that. And so yeah, and I respect it. But like I say, she's going to get more into debt in about literally a minute away from right now before we get to talk spoilers. So yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10. There are some things that me and Izzy did talk about what we liked and disliked, and we kind of agreed and disagreed. But you know what? That's perfectly fine. You're going to hear from both of us.
Oh, yeah.
But for the casual moviegoer, even if you're not a horror fan, you're still going to love this movie regardless. It's just really good. And, like I said, it's a movie to turn off your brain. Have fun with it. Like, if you had like a long, stressful week at work or school or whatever the hell you do, just sit back, relax, and you're going to enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
I sure as hell did. After the week I've had at work and stuff, it was nice to just get some laughs out of me and just smile.
Yeah, this is a great movie to go watch just to get your mind not thinking about anything. Just focus on the fun.
Yep, and like I said, Nicolas Cage. That's all I really got to say. Nicolas Cage. All right, and now we are at 10 seconds. So if you haven't seen the movie or you just don't care about spoilers, stick around. And if you're leaving right now, please come back to this episode right after you've seen the movie. So in 3, 2, 1, it is spoiler time. So if you haven't seen the movie, please go watch it and then come back. Or if you don't care about spoilers, if you've seen it, welcome. And now we're to our spoiler review. And now, Izzy, what spoilers do you want to say right now?
What spoilers?
I guess you can say like some of the kills are
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The kills, the apartment scene, oh my god.
Yeah, should we get into our positives and negatives now?
We go over the majority of the movies. Let's get into our positives and negatives.
Okay, so the first on our positive list, just like we said, the blood, gore, and killing in this movie. Ooh. It is carnage candy. If you're someone who likes that kind of stuff, this movie's for you. Mm-hmm. The apartment scene Izzy was talking about, dude, we literally see Renfield rip off someone's face. And it is brutal as shit. Mm-hmm. And Izzy, do you want to explain the arm scene?
Oh my god. So they're fighting the bad guys and he rips off his arms and then he continues to use the arms to start beating the bad guys and killing them, ending up throwing them and stabbing 2 guys through a wall, holding them up by the arms.
And before anyone says, they're not realistic, dude, this is a movie about vampires.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude, let's turn off our brain for a little bit. So many movies aren't that realistic. It's movie magic. Just think of it like that. And Nicolas Cage plays a good Dracula.
Yeah, he does.
He went all in for this role. And granted, yes, most of the kills are CGI, but they look pretty good. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure there are practical effects in there. Speaking of which, the makeup in this movie is good. The makeup on Nicolas Cage as Dracula,
yes,
on Nicholas Hoult, it looks good. And when you do their practical kills, blood and gore, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I can actually see this movie getting nominated for Best Makeup. Mm-hmm. I can see it. Despite it being a comedy horror, it does stand pretty good when it comes to makeup.
Agreed.
And like I said, when you got Universal Studios backing you up for money, you're going to do pretty good.
Yeah.
And number 2 on our positive list, the acting from Nicholas Hoult. Now, Nicholas Hoult is an amazing actor, but Renfield, he just played so perfectly, in my honest opinion. And I told Izzy, and for anyone that watched the movie or just doesn't really care, you see how he looks in the beginning when he's literally Dracula's assistant. He looks so pale. He looks so tired, depressed, and hungry. And then when he finally joins that talk group about abuse and victims, you literally see him change his lifestyle, and he starts to
Mm-hmm.
get a little bit tan on his skin, and he looks healthy. And it's that cool. Even his story arc is good, but his physical progression is amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts because you see his character blossom, which I think is beautiful, especially when you're looking at the therapy act of him actually growing and becoming his own person.
Yeah, and him realizing that he doesn't have to serve the Dracula
Yeah.
anymore. Granted, shit goes south in a way, but yeah. And even like his facial expressions, like Nicholas Hoult does a good job, even with this
Mhm.
physical acting and like his facial acting too. When he looks sad, when he looks scared, or just anything, like he looks like as if like he really is a victim,
Yeah.
which we will talk about later in our positives. But yeah, Nicholas Hoult, he was perfect as Renfield. I really don't see anyone else that could have played that part perfectly.
Neither could I. He played it amazingly.
And then number 3 on our positive list, the chemistry between Renfield and Rebecca, played by Aquafina. Yes, that's her actual name. She's a rapper too, so I'm pretty sure that's just her stage name. But yeah, they were good. Like when I found out that Renfield was gonna have a love interest, I told Izzy, this can go really good or really bad. And surprisingly, it works out naturally.
Yeah, they're you see their bond grow throughout the movie, and you could grow to love it.
Yeah, you grow to love it, and it doesn't feel forced. And that's the thing with a lot of movies
Mhm.
is that when you have a male and female lead, if it's whether it's straight, gay, or anything like that,
Mhm.
sometimes it doesn't feel natural. But when you get two leads, regardless of what type of relationship it is, if it feels natural, oh, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool, and I respect that. And throughout the movie, you see Rebecca not really trust Renfield, and throughout the movie, they grow closer and closer,
Mhm.
and it's awesome. And they honestly, like I said, I don't see who could have played those characters any better.
Neither could I.
Yeah, and number and number 4 on our positive list. I know people are probably ignoring it right now, but it is Nicolas Cage. He went like I said, he went all out for this movie. He was scary. He was pretty scary as Dracula, and just like the way he was like abusing Renfield and manipulating him,
Mhm.
you're just like, holy crap. And Nicolas Cage is a method actor. He will go all out.
Yeah.
I don't know what type of method acting for this movie he did. I hope he wasn't drinking blood or anything like that. You know?
Yeah, his character. I just want to go to like just like the special effects were just so cool with him and his progression there. But his acting, oh my god, was so good. He played such a great Dracula.
Yeah, and when he does his accent in movies, he does a pretty good job. To me, it sounds pretty natural.
Mhm.
To others, it might sound a little weird or fakish, but like I said, Nicolas Cage is a method actor and he will go all out if he has to.
Yeah, I will say when the movie first started, I wasn't sold on his Dracula, but as the movie went on and he played it more, it grew on me. I really liked it.
Yeah, and I'm going to say one more time, Nicolas Cage. That's all you really got to say. He's a cool and badass actor. All right, and number 5, the comedy is done pretty well. Like I said, when you got a movie like this, you know it's going to be ridiculous. But I think one of my biggest fears that this movie was going to be a little too funny. But no, it had a perfect balance of humor in it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the moments in the movie, I mean, we'll get to this later, but it was good comedy. It wasn't overdone.
Yeah, it wasn't overdone comedy. Like when the comedy came, it was at the right moment per se.
Yeah.
So yeah, comedy's done really good, and it helps when your whole cast of actors know how to do comedy pretty well, because
Yeah.
you can mess up comedy pretty bad.
Yeah, you
And
can.
comedians will tell you the hardest emotion to bring in an audience is laughter. And if you can make your audience laugh or feel that comedy, you're doing a pretty good job as a movie.
Mhm.
And then number 6, this one I'm really excited about on our positive list. The opening scene of this movie. The opening scene of this movie was in black and white. And for anyone that's an old school fan of horror movies like Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, Werewolf Man, just any old school horror movies, not from Universal Pictures himself, just black and white. The opening scene isn't black and white, and
Hmm.
it's amazing how they shot this.
Yeah, the opening scene is something memorable. I think it lays out the whole story great, and it really gives you that feeling of Universal.
Yeah, like I said, it's like, and I'm gonna be honest, I do like that art style of film. I do
Hmm.
like black and white movies. People might in our generation probably thinks that they suck, but no, Izzy has caught me like watching just old clips of like the Invisible Man,
Hmm.
the original King Kong, just anything. Just for me, I appreciate filmmaking a lot,
Yeah.
and so it's cool when I get to see just all these type of art styles when it comes to film. And even the lighting in this movie, when it comes to present day, is done pretty good too.
Hmm.
Granted, there are times where like it looks like a little too green, kind of like how the first Saw, kind of like how the Saw movies are in the beginning, where it has that green filter in it. But other than that, I would say it was good. That opening scene really sets the tone of how this movie's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, and this one, I think it's the most important one. And our last positive is the message it has about abusers and victims. Now, I'm not we're not going to talk about glorifying abuse, but the way they do it, because in the movie, this whole story is about how Renfield wants to get away from Dracula because Dracula abuses him, physically and emotionally, through words and stuff. But it also kind of reflects in real life when, whether you have an abusive partner, an abusive boss, or an abusive friend, or anything like that. And so it does a good job because then you also feel that human connection with Renfield. Granted, he's not entirely human per se, but they do a good job of him feeling scared from Dracula. And it's not even just because he's a monster, but just because the abuse and torment he's had throughout his life. I mean, because of Dracula, because he only met up with Dracula in Transylvania in opening scene because he was looking for work to set up his wife and kid for family. And because of it, he was stuck forever just being tormented by Dracula.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're looking at this message, I think even if you're not like a fan of like comedy or horror, I think the message of this movie is really good when it comes to those types of things and trying to get away from that narcissist in your life.
Yeah, and it does a good job of like showing. We see Renfield be so scared of
Mhm.
Dracula, and then towards the end, when he's fighting Dracula, I don't know the words, I don't know the script word to word, but something along the lines, he says something like this: I'm not afraid of you anymore, dude. I'll kick your ass." And I love that message because you see him so scared, and then he's finally his own person to
Mhm.
where he stands up to his abuser, and that's such a cool message to send out to anyone that's being abused. And if you're someone that's being abused, please talk to someone, reach out to someone. You know, you can always reach out to me and Izzy on our personal Instagrams. We have it in our bio on our YouTube page and on my TikTok. But anyways, before I get off topic, but yeah, it does a good job of letting abuse victims know that you can stand up to your abuser. You can find that power inside of you and power on.
Exactly. There are resources for you to use.
And it does a good job of portraying narcissists, like because Count Dracula tried acting like he was a victim too. He's like, "Oh, I did this for you, blah blah blah," and that's just how a narcissist would do in real life.
Exactly.
So yeah, I do appreciate how Renfield was able to do that message so good because, like I
Mhm.
said, they could have overdone it or not make it as meaningful and impactful. But yeah, I applaud. I applaud the production and director for doing it so well.
Mhm.
And now we're done with our positives, and now we're getting to our mixed feelings. We only have two mixed feelings. Our first mixed feeling is the whole dirty cop thing. And to me, during the movie, you guys saw that pretty much every cop in that department was dirty. I don't know how the hell that works out. I get it. There are corrupt cops in the police force, but an entire police department, I kind of don't like it. Like it happens in real life, yes, but a whole department, no. I'm sorry.
Yeah, when that came out in the movie, it really thrown me off because to think that a whole department was dirty and working with the mafia doesn't
Yeah,
make sense.
yeah, and like I mean, it didn't really take me out of the movie that much, but it was always something in the back of my head. I'm like, damn, dude, like, so is Rebecca the only clean cop in that whole entire department?
Mhm.
And it's like, what happens to that entire police department? do they all get replaced or what? Or do we just forget about what they did?
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
something to
so
know.
it's just more of a nitpick. All right, so that's done with our first mixed feeling, and now our second mixed feeling, how is it tried setting up a sequel in some way. Now we see in the ending of the movie that they finally defeat Dracula, but they didn't kill him. They just whooped his ass. They smashed him in the pieces. And there's a line to where Renfield says, "I seen him survive crazy shit before, so we're gonna put him in cinder blocks and concrete. That way, if he does come back, it'll be a while." I don't like that. I mean, I love the movie Renfield, but I don't think it needs a sequel if they're really trying to set one up.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't need a sequel. I think it's good as a standalone. But yeah.
I mean, would I be opposed to seeing a sequel? Not really, just because I was like that with Scream 6, because I thought Scream 5 would have been the perfect ending to that franchise, but money talks. And I'm sure Renfield is going to make a crap ton of money.
Mhm.
I guarantee it. And then so when they announced Scream 6, Izzy knows, and people that know me personally too, they know I was kind of hesitant about Scream 6, but look how Scream 6 turned out. It's, I would say it's one of the best Scream sequels we ever gotten,
Yeah.
to the original. So yeah, mixed feelings on the movie trying to set up a sequel. If they do, they really have to do it right.
Yeah.
They can't do any BS. And now we're going to finish off with our negatives. And our first negative, I don't know how you guys felt about it, is Dracula's blood. Now, in this movie and in this lore, Dracula's blood will cure you. Because, like we saw earlier in the movie, Dracula literally split open Renfield and his guts were falling out. And all Dracula had to do was pour some of his blood on his stomach. I can, I mean, it didn't, the first time it didn't really bother me that much because Renfield was technically still alive.
Mhm.
But then in the middle of the movie, we see that Dracula goes to Renfield's talk group, his therapy group, and Dracula kills all of them. And I don't mean just kill, he murders them. We see him tear apart people, biting into people's necks, ripping out their throats, just everything. And then we see Rebecca's sister die in the end of the movie. And and I don't know the rules when it comes to his blood. I don't, but the thing is that they bring back the therapy group, Renfield's friends in the end. And I'm like, dude, you guys have been dead for a day or two.
Mhm.
So I don't like that, just because it takes away a lot of the story arc from Renfield. Because when Renfield saw his therapy group therapy group friends die in front of him, it changed his character to where it motivated him to finally stand up to Dracula. And so when you take that away and bring him back, it's like, really?
Yeah, it kind of ruins that story arc, and so the blood to me is kind of OP a little bit.
Yeah, because
Um,
then now it's like, so, and like as we see in the ending, they have a gallon of Dracula's blood. So it's like, so are they just immortal now? Like, I don't like it.
yeah,
It kind of bugs me a little bit, and I think that's what makes it a 7.5 out of 10 for you.
one more other thing, but yeah,
Yeah, and so we're moving on to our second negative, and our second negative, I'm sorry, folks, is Dracula's motivation. It's cliche as hell. I kind of saw his motivation coming. And for those that are just watching because they don't care about spoilers or they're not going to watch the movie itself, Dracula's motivation in this movie is world domination.
yeah,
That is such a I get it. It's a plot of a lot of Nicolas Cage movies, but it's so cliche and overdone. And really, Dracula world domination, I don't see how that works. I mean, yeah, we kind of see him work with the mafia in the end, but that's not really going to work out because he has the U.S. military to fight, and also we have hella churches.
mhm,
I'm pretty sure that the priest would come up with something to stop Dracula. And it's just the motivation of him wanting world domination. Like, it's just such a cliche that sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
yeah. It just seems way too easy of a plot point to do. I would have rather seen something a little bit more creative.
I mean, honestly, I kind of just wish it was. I would have liked if this movie was just basically about Dracula hunting down Renfield and hurting people he loves.
Yeah.
That way, it could have been a cool concept, but also a close movie to your heart, and yeah. So the whole mafia thing, the mafia was only really there to like help progress the story, and and for Dracula to feed off of in the beginning.
Yeah.
And now for our last negative, there are serious moments in this movie, as you guys saw, but we never really got time to channel it, like to feel it, because like literally a second later they play off a joke, and yeah, it works out maybe once or twice, but then it's kind of like Marvel movies now. They try having serious moments, but then some character says like a joke or a one liner is like, let me feel that emotion.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. So that's the reason why my thing is a 7.5 instead of like an 8. Just because I feel like the series, if they really wanted to do the serious notes, then they should have taken it seriously. I understand it's a comedy movie, but like take your series
But there are
serious.
comedy movies that
Yeah.
do pretty good serious moments that they don't follow it up with comedy.
Mhm.
But I would have liked it if there was serious moments. Like I said, I wish Renfield's therapy group of friends just died,
Mhm.
because that would have been such an emotional impact. And I talked to Izzy in the car about it because we watched it today, but this episode is going to be uploaded on Sunday. We were watching it, and on the way home, I told Izzy it kind of reminds me of Chad's death in Scream 6. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. I'm sorry, it's been almost a month. Go see it. But yeah, and as much as I love the character of Chad Meeks, I'm happy he lived. I wouldn't have minded if he died.
Exactly.
Because then it progresses the characters' arcs to where they're going to be stronger. They're going to be stronger characters, and so when you're taking away those serious moments and playing it off for laughs, this is like, that sucks.
Yeah.
I would have liked the stakes to be raised a little bit, but yeah, that's just my opinion. People feel differently, but yeah. And so that's going to conclude our spoiler free and spoiler review of Renfield. We hope you guys love it as much as we did. Like I said, it's going to be a sleeper movie, and I guarantee I'm going to be hearing about it all weekend because it was pretty good.
Yeah. This movie is definitely one to take I don't know if you take your family, but like if you need a laugh after a hard week of work, definitely go watch this movie.
Just if you need some laughs and just like a good time, go watch this movie with someone. Go take your neighbor. Go take someone. Have fun with it. It is such a good movie. But yeah, anyways, we appreciate everyone who listened and stayed and has subscribed. And remember, we're doing our giveaway next week. I already have names drawn up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm adding a few more. So yeah, we're gonna pick our giveaway winner next week. So yeah, stay tuned. And as always, take care of others, but most importantly, take care of yourselves. And we will catch you in the next episode. Peace out, everyone.
Bye, guys.